Hello. Okay, this isn't the actual hangout. I'm asking if we want to have a hangout. Is there anybody out there? I'll watch this video for the next hour or probably two. I'll be online. Um, Primarily to barklord. If I happen to catch you, it's a little late in the afternoon out there, Central Time, I think. But I've been busy. I have wanted to have a hangout with you for a while, actually, but you were asking about a hangout. Definitely, I'd love to talk about economics. You're familiar with Henry George, and anybody that isn't. That's the primary reason I'm doing this. But if anybody else is out there and not barklord wants to have a hangout, I might do one. My wife's traveling. I've been looking for work all week. It's Friday. I'm thinking I might have a hangout. Um, Again, primarily to barklord who wanted to have a hangout on, let's talk about some basic economics. Let's all try to be better at economics. I personally feel that I've discovered something lately that makes things click. I think I get economics now. All of a sudden, somewhat of a novice, starting to learn more now with basic understanding instead of a confusion. I think it's, like people. It's kind of like when people are conspiracy theorists about scientists. Oh, they're lying again. There's gravity waves. I mean, I kind of feel that way about economists. Oh, they've got this big line, this myth, and it's kind of like in economics, we're in the age of leeches, where they know just enough to seem like they know way more than they do. And there's some simple ways of thinking about this stuff that I think help a lot. I'd like to work through a lot and get feedback from also people that tend to disagree or whatever. See how these ideas, various kinds of people, what their gut reaction is to these ideas that I've been reading about and whatnot. And also maybe something more sophisticated in the forms of an agreement that barklord, one of my favorite YouTubers of all time, um, and I might be able to, you're super reasonable, barklord. Anyway, hopefully we can have that hangout, if not now, at some point. I'm going to use this also to mention something that's interesting now. I have some more, I hate to call you conservative or anything, but you're leaning to some other, let's say, anti-SJW side of things. Vic, and he's been complaining, what I'll just call in short, if you call customer service and you're talking to someone in Ebonics, he thinks that shows generally that you're from the culture and these people are rude and stuff like this. Now, what do you think of Trump, Vic? Now, I've come to the conclusion, while on the one hand, the idea of Trump for president is one of those things that makes me want to move to British Columbia. Okay. On the other hand, I've decided he's probably the best of the Republicans, from a Republican standpoint. From my standpoint, if I had to settle for a Republican for a while, Kasich seems reasonable. I remember when he was a young Republican, contract on America Republican, and I've been over and windowed into seeing how he is, more reasonable and competent, though he is reasonable and competent. I mean, plus when he was asked about what music he likes, he likes way more modern music than me, but he says The Wall is the best album ever. So, okay, we're a little bit compatible. Have a beer with him, sure. And even Bush, I think, is competent and whatnot. I think Marco Rubio would have a machine behind him, be a figurehead. I don't know who's behind him exactly, but it'd probably be mainstream in some sense. And I think the most dangerous is Ted Cruz, but so what about Trump? Now, regarding Ebonics, the African-American so-called culture, and Trump, I have a link, the viewer's view. I would love to hear some feedback. I'm subscribed to these women. They have the great talk show. They're total Trump heads. They're for Trump, African-American women. They've got a great style. One of them's kind of the side. I mean, I just won't explain it, but I think it's wonderful. And it actually shows how, here you have Trump supporters, educated, obviously working, women that have had a job, professional women or whatever, and I would guess, and of intelligent, speak with a African-American, urbanish, Southern style, ideas you don't normally hear in that tone of voice, namely Trump support, for example, scared of immigrants, for example, Christian, for example. Well, I guess that's not that odd or anything. There's nothing really odd about them, but it's just interesting in that it's not odd while also being this juxtaposition of supposedly an uncommon facet of our society where things come together in an emulsion. So, you know, like, anyway, I'll put the link down below eventually. So the point of this video, though, to remind you was if anybody wants to have a hangout, especially barklord on economics, or otherwise, you could propose. I'm totally game. If barklord's there, I'll watch. If anybody else shows up, I'm pretty much game, but it depends on what you want to talk about. So maybe put in the comments what you want to talk about. And actually, if you do that, probably totally open. I'd just like to know. So anyway, it's good to have a little bit of an agenda if you're going to spend time. If you're going to plan, if you're going to say, hey, I'll spend some time, it's good to have a little bit of an agenda. Know what you're spending the time on makes me feel better. All right. So cheers to everybody. Hopefully the message got through pretty clear. Not to distract you with my Vic and Trump related asterisks. Cheers.